What's going on? It's Justeeni here. We're back with some more World Championship. This is the semifinals. Again, with how this format works, it's going to be a best of three, single elim, and this set may be one of the craziest sets I think I've seen in my entire life. And I am not saying that just to be hyperbolic and exaggerate for the content. This set is truly something special in many ways. First off, the players. In the East here, we have Meisterlamp, who many may argue to be the GOAT, certainly one of the titans of Polytopia, versus a player who you've maybe never heard of before, Slimming Boy. Maybe you haven't heard of him, because almost nobody's heard of him. This is a rather unknown player who hasn't really been involved in much competitive Polytopia until now, where he has found himself on the world stage in Sweden. Crazy stuff. But he is here to prove that he didn't get here by pure happenstance, and that he truly deserves a spot here. Hopefully, but he is gonna have to deal with probably one of the toughest possible matchups. So we will see how things go. Let's get right into things. So Bardur starting off pretty typically. Missing his suburb though, and his warrior's wandering. Really bad start for Bardur here, whereas Meisterlamp has a beautiful second city. Bardur meeting Luxidoor, both getting meeting stars from each other, and Luxidoor just gets a free kill, goes for riding and hunting. Meisterlamp playing it safe, not recognizing Bardur's actually really far away. So he goes for the rider in case there's another warrior to siege. Meisterlamp getting the lighthouse, kind of getting ready for that giant. And we can see really iffy resources for Bardur. He goes for archery and org. Very defensive here. Goes for the workshop as well, not grabbing the explorer for more vision. We see that archer already coming into play. Meister kind of overstepping a little, kind of donating the warrior kill right back. We see another capture, another workshop, an explorer from the ruin. This Explorer Rune's actually amazing. Remember when Explorer Runes were usually a bad thing? This one's certainly an amazing thing. Grabbing that northern lighthouse. Meister only needs the southern lighthouse, and that will be Eye of God. He grabs the workshop here because obviously you would need fishing if he actually wanted to try and grab the lighthouse, and he'd rather get some more economy instead of trying to go for like fishing and stuff. Chops a bunch to get that giant on turn 7. Park of Fortune down. This is looking really good. Meister has amazing vision thanks to the ruin. He's got a good economy. He's got an early giant. Slimming Boy going for climbing to explore this northern area. Meister stepping on the ruin, getting more riders. Stepping over here, finding ruins of his own. Now Meister getting mathematics for a beautiful border growth. Right in the middle, taking a ton of space and getting a ton of water axes that he was missing earlier. Both players were struggling with water axes, but now it's only Slimming Boy struggling. The Juggernaut coming in. Slimming Boy did see the Juggernaut splash there, despite his lack of vision. So he does know that there will be a Juggernaut. Explore Ruin, but since he doesn't have fishing, it's not going to reveal too much. We can see very interesting this Catapult. Very, again, defensive by Slimming Boy. He has math, but he hasn't placed a lumber hut yet. Now placing the lumber huts, only later. Now Park of Fortune. And chopping for another Catapult. Very defensive. Very unusual. I wouldn't expect a player on 3 cities to play like this. But this is what we're seeing. Now, getting that nice kill, and just firing away. Juggernaut at half HP just like that. Meisterlamp kind of punished for overextending here. Except he extends the Juggernaut further now outside of the range of these units. This one in the range. And now in the vision as well, because Bardur just got that important vision. So this Juggernaut's going to be pressured a lot. Meisterlamp going for roads to secure this village up here and deny Bardur the lighthouse. Bardur still trying to go for that lighthouse. And the other Juggernaut, very weak once again due to all these ranged units. But Meisterlamp is able to get this Explorer. Oh, he's actually missing the one in the east. Or sorry, the west here. Unless, of course, he gets it. Thanks to the mountain here, it would not have been possible otherwise. And that will give Eye of God to Meisterlamp. Slimming Boy in a very rough spot now. Because Meisterlamp is going to have 6 cities here. Whereas Slimming Boy only with 3. But now we see strategy. This border growth city, which was a huge asset which allowed Luxidoor to expand like this, might be getting used in Bardur's favor here. Slimming Boy recognizing that, going for the cloak as his only out here. It's looking unlikely, but with the resource ruin, maybe it's just possible to make the comeback here. Mining, allowing for the border growth, taking a bunch of space, but then this Juggernaut goes in. Crucial mistake here. Slimming Boy missing that this play was possible. This catapult is unfortunately not where it needs to be. Just misplaced for 1 turn. That's all that it takes in these games. Just 1 turn. 1 unit mispositioned. And now, you are still able to get the cloak invasion. Meister trying to block as many spots as he can. But due to the border growth, there's just so many available spots for the daggers to spawn. Now we see another giant here. Slimming Boy. Meister happy to sacrifice his own weak giant just to get rid of all these ranged units. To kind of allow himself to defend here. More units going in the water. If Meister can get sailing, these catapults are going to be toast. And just 1 more road connection. That's Grand Bazaar. There it goes. Double monument getting the giant over here to help kind of support the southern side of the map, preventing Slimming Boy from even having a chance of taking anything. Meisterlamp with almost double the economy of the opponent. And also worth noting, why didn't Slimming Boy train a cloak earlier? He was actually pop capped earlier. He didn't train a cloak. And because of that, he gets a second cloak. But it's too late. If he had been able to maintain a cloak chain, perhaps there would have been chances, but now this veteran rider is going to be super annoying. This Juggernaut's going in. Another Juggernaut. Plenty of catapults for defense. Meister has this game set in stone. The cloak has to wander elsewhere to not get discovered by the rider, but that is GG's. Meister taking the first game. And it's not looking good for Slimming Boy, but can he make the comeback? We'll go ahead and cut to the next game. Alright, game 2. You can see Luxidoor not quite as good of a spawn this time. Lighthouse spawn, but it's blocked by the fish. Very unfortunate landlocked situation, and a much better spawn for Bardur, but Luxidoor does have host advantage, so we'll see how things go. Meisterlamp kind of doing a normal opening. Bardur as well. Nothing unusual so far, but we'll quickly see in this early game a ruin and a village. Now, common knowledge states, go for the village, but Slimming Boy disagrees. Goes for the ruin instead. Crazy play. Slowing down his expansion significantly. We'll see if it pays off though. Meisterlamp now grabbing this lighthouse. If he just grabs 1 more, he's getting a quick giant. Typical Luxidoor stuff. And we see a population from Bardur. This is gonna help him a ton, but he misses his suburb, so he's not getting a second city till turn 6. Whereas Luxidoor is gonna have 3 of them by turn 4. And we're gonna see meeting Bardur. And grabs the lighthouse. Things are looking great for Meister. Gonna be able to get that turn 5 giant, no problem. Bardur, on the other hand, again, slow to expand, finally finding his suburbs. Now, organization, though, population, and he is close to a giant. So we see turn 5 giant from Luxidoor. Now Bardur getting the meeting stars with a lighthouse, allowing for forestry. Now Slimming Boy also getting the turn 5 giant. Before he even has the 2nd and 3rd city, he has a giant already. Now Park of Fortune going down for the level 3. Taking out this warrior. Now we see farming from Luxidoor to upgrade. He's got plenty of farms. Now Slimming Boy going for fishing. He needs fishing to upgrade the city. Goes for his first explorer of the set. grabs a bunch of useful vision, and it looks like fishing is going to be really nice here to grab these cities. He may have been slow to expand, but now things might be looking up. Workshop it up. And both sides are tied with eco. Now, Luxidoor getting the pop ruin much later, of course. And a very strong border growth. Lots of forests. Combined with farming, construction looks like a pretty interesting path here. Now we see Bardur hopping onto the port. And the second giant. Hitting the second giant before Luxidoor gets it is kind of crazy. Especially since Luxidoor did get a pop ruin. We see Luxidoor now trying to get on the water, recognizing that he's going to be stuck on 3 cities if he doesn't, and Bardur going for archery with this defense bonus here and the support potential for 2 giants to be invading here with the archers as well. This will be very tough for Luxidoor to defend. Luxidoor, though, trying to counterattack of his own. Now getting the second giant. Star ruin for Bardur. And strategy allowing Bardur to hold on to the city. Saying no, Meisterlimp, you cannot siege. Now we see forestry, not going for construction. This is a very heavy commitment here. Less giants in the long run, but it is cheaper. You need that defense right now. Slimming Boy, pressuring, taking advantage of that defense bonus that he has with that giant. Explorer here is going to give him some useful vision and another lighthouse. Still missing one for the Eye of God, but still very crucial vision that will be useful. Now putting the giant here, kind of forcing this Juggernaut in a weird spot. You see, Meisterlimp does not have sailing. Wherever you put this Juggernaut, it's going to be vulnerable to a giant. See the Ruin Explorer, again for Meisterlimp. Last time very good, and no exception here. Actually grabbing him Eye of God single-handedly. Now sailing, evading the giants. And sending this warrior here, we're gonna see what looks to be a possible 5-on-5 here. But Slimming Boy does not want Meister to take the city. We also see the defenders that Slimming Boy got earlier, not just useful for the temporary defense, but also in the long term, being able to put defenders is going to be much more valuable than putting warriors in the water. Meister really trying to ensure that his warrior goes on the city, weakening this, and you have to get another scout here, spending another 5 stars if you want to deny the warrior the city, which is very expensive. Oh, we see Slimming Boy do it. And now Slimming Boy taking the city, parking the defender here on the starfish in case he wants to get nav. But these 2 juggernauts, much greater than 1. Is Meister going to be able to take the water? You can see kind of like things over here. Meister had to get archery to respond to this, and the siege is quite annoying. Both players kind of like trading all their units here. Bardur now getting navigation, just 1 starfish. And with these giants, it doesn't look like there's going to be a good bomber spot. But Slimming Boy goes navigation despite that. It doesn't look like there's going to be much value anytime soon. If ever. Meisterlimp going for a nice splash there. We see another workshop for Slimming Boy. He's currently up in cities. And he has some nice tech, getting the starfish too. But now Meisterlimp is going to be able to catch back up with ramming. Trying to get his own advantage in the water. That way. Grabbing another explorer. He does have Eye of God, but he just wants more information of what's going on. And also taking out this giant. Slimming Boy with no giants on the map, whereas Meister has 3. One of them is very injured though. So basically it's as if Meister only has like 2. Though this giant is actually about to die, so it's as if he really only has 1. But 1 giant is much greater than none. And this armada of scouts, all defender scouts, very dangerous. While Meister doesn't have nearly as much in the water, he goes for the wall, keeping the city safe. You need to commit so much to even siege it, and it might not even hold. Warrior down here, even more scouts, and a bomber! Using the veteran sword that he got from a ruin earlier. He is going to be able to siege and constantly pressure the city wall. And these units in the water continuing to kind of get chipped away at. Meister taking the splash value, not using it to unsiege. Because he has a plan. Gate of Power. Just in time. Gets the unsiege. Veteran Warrior. In the water, that's just as useful as a defender. These archers are starting to advance. This rammer is very dangerous. Is Meister going to be able to take back the water? And with this pressure on land as well? This is a very complicated position, but we see the Gate of Power right back by Slimming Boy grabbing the border growth because it's actually a cheaper giant and it gets you some more space. Another bomber taking advantage of that border growth. Acknowledging that Meister doesn't have enough of a naval presence to actually counter this. But because he got that bomber, means that Slimming Boy isn't getting a giant. Which means now this bomber's looking a little bit exposed. But he fires off anyway. Again, trying to keep this bomber safe. He's able to do it, make some defenders. Still not making the giant, by the way. I mean, see, Meister starting to pressure with archers and now going riding roads, pressuring this bomber here as well out of nowhere. So this position is still by no means safe for Slimming Boy. Trying to trade with these archers some more. Now, finally getting the giant. This will be very useful alongside the defenders. We can see Meister's been slightly ahead in economy this whole time. But these bombers and defenders getting a little bit of value, and now this giant, but the capital siege. Oh my goodness. And the second siege with the raft. Now with another rider following up. Or units just trying to give Slimming Boy a hard time. He was only making 13 stars this turn, not even enough to afford a bomber. Unsieges that city. And he's going to be able to keep all of his bombers safe. Putting this giant in the water. This naval dominance by Slimming Boy, that choice to go navigation earlier, is actually looking to pay off. Now Meisterlamp getting another giant. Poking away at that bomber once again. It's at half HP. Much less effective now. Meister's able to hold on. But it's still very hard to attack here. And another bomber with this injured defender. It looks like Meister's naval access is being denied, and you can see Bardur is up so many units. Meister trying to get back in the water with the Juggernaut. But there's an invasion here in the central city that can't be adequately defended. These giants are too slow. Slimming Boy continuing to build up even more units. This bomber gets hit once again due to these pesky archers. But all of his bombers are still alive. Juggernauts are trying to counterattack here, taking advantage of the fact that this giant has landed. But the bombers are just continuing to clean up, now splashing the Juggernauts again, and we see diplomacy. Diplomacy? I mean, we see these border growth cities that are great targets, but is this necessary? Why not get, like, riding and roads, get the Grand Bazaar, or not get any tech at all and just continue to push this naval dominance? Instead, diplomacy might be a little risky, but maybe you can get away with it. Can Meister do anything about it? We can see some riders pressuring here. It's hard to land a cloak here due to the rider presence. This giant's getting weakened due to these archers here. But still, these bombers from Slimming Boy proving to be super useful. And more scouts. Still has knock-on ramming, by the way. And we see a defender on the capital just staying safe from these riders. The cloak going here, a little bit tricky to reach. You have to kill this archer to spot it. See the siege here with the Juggernaut. Will it hold? And Meister kills the wrong archer. He still can kill this archer. Taking out the scout. These bombers are just impossible to reach, though. Juggernaut going in. Is Slimming Boy gonna be able to unsiege this? No, he can't unsiege. The dinghy in the water. Meisterlamp can see it. Gets a splash with the bombers there. Very, very expensive, but he takes out one of Slimming Boy's bombers finally. And now this Juggernaut also significantly weakened because it parked itself very close to land. But now, these archers getting taken out. Bomber at 1 HP. It can splash onto the cloak, but it won't actually be enough to take out the cloak. See, Unsiege, Meister able to keep this. It's still a 5-on-5, though honestly, the city is not nearly as good as this one, so it seems still very much in Slimmy Boy's favor, despite that splash there. This complete naval dominance with these bombers far advanced, the city very isolated here, and this city, two very easy targets. Even with all this clutter and chaos, Slimmy Boy is able to navigate through. These damaged bombers, still very useful, and Meister resigns. Decides, I can't unsiege, and this is just simply lost for me. Wow. Very, very crazy game. Very chaotic, but Slimming Boy actually managed to outplay Meister here. And now it's going to be game 3. Final match. Alright, final game, and you can see very, very scary situation for Bardur. The closest possible spawn to Luxidoor. This is a terrible, terrible situation, but you do have host advantage. But let's see how things go. Bardur advancing straight into Luxidoor. Luxidoor missing a suburb. Bardur steps on the village. Luxidoor just needs to walk here and hit the warrior, and this could spell disaster for Bardur. Meister meeting Slimming Boy, hits the warrior, gets riding, but then makes a crucial blunder, hitting this warrior as well. A serious miscalculation. If he had not hit this warrior would kill the 5 HP, but then this warrior would kill this warrior on the village, and the 10 HP rider and warrior team up to kill this warrior here, allowing for an effective block, ensuring that Meister keeps this. But now we will see what happens instead. Slimming Boy gets the meeting stars and is able to get archery and an archer, and now we can see, even though the siege can take place, it will not hold. Meister bounces over here, and fortunately, Plot Armor finds a ruin, which might be able to save him. Steps on the ruin, he's going to be able to keep it. Slimming Boy hits the rider, and we see a vet sword! Oh my goodness! But wait, is this enough? All that Slimming Boy needs to do is just keep this warrior here, and the sword can't reach the city, and the archers will kind of whittle this down over time. Meister only on 1 city, and Slimming Boy about to get the 3rd one. If you don't take the city, which, if Slimming Boy plays this correctly, won't be possible, this is actually still dead loss for Luxidoor. Trying to pressure as much as possible. Poking away at the vet sword, but killing the rider with the wrong unit. Should have killed it with the archer instead. But instead, in the heat of the moment, also sacrificing the warrior to make space to train another unit here, because otherwise the rider sieges, but unfortunately this is going to mean the vet sword sieges. Meister given a second chance, basically. But Bardur getting forestry, making things not too easy, and training units to be safe. Now Meister forced to go into organization, grabbing the explorer to see what's going on. It's going to be tricky to attack into Bardur because they've got such a good defense with the archers. But the lighthouse is useful, and seeing what Bardur's up to is going to be very nice. Bardur kind of cut off by these mountains, but he does have access to 2 ruins. Meister's got 1 ruin. That sword, that was crucial. But these 2 ruins could also be very crucial for Slimming Boy. Now grabbing the lighthouse, climbing ruin. Not what you want to see. Now getting the explorer to finally see what's up. Climbing does allow you to reveal this lighthouse and get tons of information. But then also kind of goes awkwardly backwards due to climbing as well. Meisterlamp getting close to a giant. And then a Star Ruin for Bardur, allowing him to actually get the giant first. Not only that, but Park of Fortune here. And we could see a second giant. Not just a giant. Not just two giants. But two well-supported giants. You see, Meister gets one giant, but where's the second giant? And supporting with riders is not going to be as good as supporting with archers. Meister may be up a city, but this doesn't actually look too good. If Slimming Boy plays this correctly, this could be really, really troublesome. You see, chopping for the archer. Meister trying to clear out all the support. How do you deal with the giants? Meister going for archers of his own, recognizing that the riders just won't be enough, but now the giants are invading right now. Little misplay there. Moving the archer here, should have moved back here instead. But we do see that kill. Archer moving back. Slimming Boy does have climbing. It probably would have been better to explore, but maybe he thinks that this archer's better on defense? I'm not sure. Could just be a misplay. In these live games, on the world stage are very stressful, very easy to make misplays, as we've seen with a lot of these games. Now more upgrades. You can see really nice 16 star per turn, more than 5 on average per city, whereas Meisterlamp with the siege is actually very low in economy. He is able to unsiege, but he grabs climbing, which might not have been necessary for the unsiege. And while that giant just got eviscerated, what about the second one? Now Slimming Boy also grabbing riding with the intention of roads, and Meisterlamp resigns. What an incredible set. Meister losing to Slimming Boy. And that means we're going to see the grand finals. Arthur versus Slimming Boy. One of the OGs versus a very, very new player. Crazy to see. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub. And have a good one.